Welcome back to another session here in Dave's Garage. I'm Dave, this is my garage. This is where I teach people how to play the saxophone. In here, one-on-one, in studio, or on Zoom. We can do it on Zoom too, from anywhere in the planet time zone. All we have to do is get connected here. So if you'd like a sax lesson, shameful self-plug, this is what I do, it's how I feed myself, how I afford to have a garage. Is by teaching saxophone lessons and helping you, being kind of a sax mentor, all right? If you need that, hit me back, davegoodsax@gmail.com, davegoodsax@gmail.com, or leave the comments below. In the comments below, I'd be happy to get right back to you, and I always enjoy hearing from each and every one of you. We're approaching 420 subscribers. I remember when it was like a dozen, and oh my gosh, I can't. I'm so stoked that this little bitty channel, this little homemade, little do-it-yourself channel from the garage here, is growing and providing a service. If you an idea, a comment, something that you'd like to have covered, I'd be so grateful for you to leave a comment, reach out, or find me, and we can even DM each other about issues you're having with your saxophone. Excuse me. Oh boy, sweat bath today. This is the sweat bath. We're in the crux of summer here. I'm going to raise this up just a little bit. Right? Watch. Hold on. Don't move. Better? Yeah, like that. Yeah, like that. Okay. We're in the hottest part of the summer right now here in Southern California, and we're cooking. And we are cooking. So I'm going to try to make this as short as I can. Just you're all laughing right now, right? Today, I wanted to talk about, this is part 2 of a series for our emerging improvisers, or those of you who are very skilled improvisers, but perhaps are stuck, you've plateaued, you reached a place that you can't seem to get past, or you're just starting out and you want to become an improviser. You want to do that, which is about one of the coolest things that you can do, express yourself with an instrument. Don't care what it is. My instrument of choice is saxophone. Whatever you got, it's just the coolest thing in the world to be able to say compose on the spot and contribute to the conversation that a band is having with an audience. I just absolutely am enchanted by the whole process of making music, of making that nonverbal language with people, with my buddies. And so today we're going to talk about the changes, and a lot of you think, and I know that you've been taught and trained that playing the changes is what it's all about. Playing the changes. What do I mean by when I say play the changes? The changes. Let me get a book. I got a book right here. I'll show you what I mean. Grab the real book over here. Got the real book. This is the E flat version. You can tell they don't come bound with black duct tape. Mine's, I've had for so long they're falling apart. Okay, let's just take a look at this. Let's take a look at Blue Monk. Blue Monk, all right? Is that okay? All right, by the changes, what I mean, for those of you who don't know, and please forgive me for those of you who do know, I know, skip ahead if you'd like, okay? Look, these are the changes. You see that right there? We got a G, a C, a G. We have, what is this? Oh, a G dominant, G7. Back to a C and a C. Those chords change. The person who's playing the rhythm instrument, be it piano, piano, guitar, and bass, are all changing the arpeggios as they move through the song. That's the harmony. The harmony supports the melody. And quite often, in so much of the pedagogy, or the literature, or lessons, or the sessions, it's about learning to play the changes, learning to play those arpeggios. And I believe that for years myself. And my solos kind of sounded like that. And you will hear people who play in that, that with that training in mind, and their solos kind of sound like just arpeggios, just rearranged, right? So that's the thing that we're going to talk about today. You're not playing the changes, Dave. What are you going to play? Well, melody and rhythm, right? There you go. The king and the queen. Melody and the rhythm run the show. All right. That's where we want to live as musicians. Now, I've had so many students in this garage right here playing out of a book, and we'll play to a backing track over the house speakers here, and they'll be studying the changes, studying the chart and looking at the chords change and trying to figure out how this all comes together. And it may as well be, trying to read, Russian or some language that they have no clue, because they're like, and you can hear that, maybe less than half the time they're getting it right. They're getting some of it right, but they're not, because, they're not really getting the idea that the melody is what we're working with here. That's the roadmap. And rhythm, the melody and the rhythm are so important. I started my musical career back when I was a little baby. Maybe 5 or 4, maybe 4-ish. And Leonard Bernstein had, it's the young people's concerts on television. And my mother had discovered television as a pretty good babysitter. And so she would park my little butt in front of the TV and turn that on, right? Pretty highbrow entertainment, but it was for kids. And the first episode or first or second, I think maybe the first episode they gave a tour of Lincoln Center. But the second, or either first or second, Leonard Bernstein said, melody, that's the meat and potatoes, the main course. And I have never forgotten that, the melody. So if you really want to get ahead as a soloist, you know your chords, you know your arpeggios, you know your scales, you've got agility, you can move around, and if you can't, get there, because you have to, okay? You have to be able to move around on your horn. Last lesson was on relative pitch. This one is on memorizing the melody of the song. How hard could that be? What's the melody? Let's just take a look here. Any song. Blue Train. Not too hard, is it? I can't sing. But you memorize that. You commit that to memory, all right? You put it in your head and you store it there. Lady Sings the Blues. I mean, any of these songs that your group is going to play, you memorize this stuff, all right? Stick it in your head, stick it in the, in the intellectual hopper here, as Peter Jennings, the news guy, used to say, the late Peter Jennings, and you will have it there. Memorize everything that you possibly can, every melody that you possibly can, anything that you get. Sonny Rollins has a million really good ones. Charlie Parker, you go on and on with these guys. There's so many wonderful songs. There's, the songbook, the American Songbook, the real books. It's stuff you'll learn off the, off of YouTube. Right? Just store them in your head, save them in there. And another really helpful thing for you to do while you're storing that is the concert key that the song is in, so that when they call a key, that your keyboard guy, your guitar, whatever, they're going to call a concert pitch, and you already know what that is, and you know the transposition to your key, be it E flat or B flat. Okay, so melody and rhythm is so much more important than playing the changes. All right, once again, I've watched people stand right here and play along, and their eyes are tracking the changes. You know what they're not thinking about? They're not thinking about the melody. They're not thinking about making something beautiful happen. And the proof of that, can you hear the dogs? There they are. The proof of that is that when I turn it around and don't let them look at the chart, then they begin to solo. Try that at home. Next time you're doing some work, turn the music around, don't look at the sheet, whatever it is, see how much of it you got memory, or just play along and see what kind of a solo you come up with, as opposed to your eyes tracking, reading every chord change that's on the page, okay? That's a practice move. I mean, if you want to do that in practice, groovy. I can't tell you how many sessions I've had with teachers who have said, yep, you got to learn this and you got to learn that. You got to do it to a metronome and you got to blah, blah, blah. It goes on and on. That's the standard approach to the the creation of solos with a single note instrument, okay? That you learn, the root, the tonic, you learn the chord, you learn the chord tones, and then you learn the non-chord tones, the jazz extensions, right? Your 9s and 11s and your 13s and all that. Those kind of things that make jazz chords. Not a jazz guy? No. Well, dominant 7s, all right? Minor pentatonics, major pentatonics, blues scales, all that sort of thing. Yeah, sure, you got to be able to rip those. I mean, rip, yeah. Not just like, I mean, like rip. So that's a goal. Now, do you need to have all that done by next week? No, of course not. Do you need to have all this done within a year? That's not very long if you think about it. So give yourself some time and give yourself permission to make a ton of mistakes. I mean, blow clams left and right? Because that's how we learn this language of music, all right? All right. Melody and rhythm, so important, okay? All right. Talk to you next time. So glad that you're here. Once again, I don't ask for a penny for these. I do all this stuff for absolute. I have nothing to sell you other than private lessons here in the garage or on Zoom. Got a tip jar below. Some of you have contributed to that, and I so appreciate that. You'll see that in the comments below. Also want to hear from you about ideas you have for future sessions, things that you'd like, questions you'd like to have answered. Reach out to me once again, davegoodsax@gmail.com, davegoodsax@gmail.com, or in the comments below, and I'll get back to you. All right. I'm at 11 minutes. I'm exhausting you. I'm going. All right. Thanks so much for being here.